Before we get to my interview with Josh Hochschild, we have the first installment in our Future Shock 2.0 series presented by Ira Wolfe. He's an author, workforce trends expert, and top 5 global thought leader on the future of work and HR. Future Shock 2.0 is about business and workforce trends caused by the convergence of people, business and technology. Ira Wolfe, welcome to Future Shock 2.0. Today you're going to talk about labour force trends. What do you see out there?
Wow, that's a great question. Great to be back, John. Labour force trends, they're going to be different. I describe the world as never normal, and things are going to be perpetually never normal. As we move back, we talk about future shock. Certainly both workers and employers are feeling that. They're pretty stressed out where things are. We look at the Great Resignation. We have a record number of people that are quitting their jobs every month. People are waiting to get back to normal, settle down. And yet, despite the fact that our economy is growing, but we're obviously with the war and inflation and things, we're at risk of a recession. But it's odd. It's really, really odd because the economists are not predicting a slowdown or an increase in the unemployment rate. They're talking about a decrease in the unemployment rate. And in fact, I just read this, a report just came out the other day from the Conference Board. It stated that by early 2023, the unemployment rate is going to dip below 3%, And that's even, it just was released. So they're taking into account some of those trends. We're going to have a prolonged shortage of labor, of workers. Now, it's not going to be universal. And there are people say, well, we're not experiencing that. Well, it's going to be different. It could be different geographically. It's going to be different by different jobs. There are certain jobs, especially in healthcare. Healthcare is probably has the biggest risk of shortages long term, and that affects all of us. We can't get to the doctors. We're all getting older. We have emergencies. We experienced a lot of that during the pandemic. That's only going to increase, and a lot of the providers that we have are baby boomers and they're retiring. And then a lot of healthcare is certainly stressed out and people are going to leave that. But we look at manufacturing, one of the reasons we have semiconductor shortages, which affects everything in our lives, is because they don't have enough people to be able to do the job. Or if they have enough semiconductors or any type of technology, they can't get them delivered. They're sitting on ships. They can't get them delivered to the depots. There's shortages on grocery shelves, not because there's not a shortage of food. Last 2 years ago, we had a shortage of toilet paper, but now most supplies are sitting in warehouses or on trucks somewhere because there's not enough truck drivers. So the labor shortages, although healthcare is going to be most impacted, manufacturing, production, and the trades. And what's crazy is, and I know we'll get into this a little bit into the specific industries in future shows, but the number of jobs that need to be filled by people who don't have a 4-year degree we are in a huge hole, a huge deficit. And we have more and more people graduating. There's a 2% increase in the population that has a BA degree, a bachelor's degree. But the number of people who have high school degrees is exploding, only high school degrees, but they don't have the skills that are required to do the jobs. We talk about construction, and construction is not just swinging a hammer and using a saw. We're talking about HVAC, plumbing, electrical, welding, and all those jobs are technical jobs these days. When your HVAC guy comes to check out your air and heat pump, it's a computer that just happens to be pushing through air. So we are going to have really severe labor shortages for the foreseeable future. There's going to be a couple pockets that aren't too bad. And if you're in one of those, lucky you. But for anyone who's got certain sets of skills, it's going to be your day. And for employers, it's going to continue to be tough.